Howdy folks, I'm here in the Himalaya Mountains up above Dharamsala, which is where the Dalai Lama lives. I just did an amazing hike, about 3 hours or so, up to a spot called Triund, and as you can see, pretty awesome views of the Himalayas behind me there. So this video is on the subject of anger, and it is definitely a controversial topic and one of great misunderstanding, especially among various spiritual disciplines and belief systems. And I think that there is a lot of misunderstanding around the emotion of anger and how exactly to deal with it and how to genuinely resolve it, because I think it's safe to say that none of us wants to be around anger. None of us wants to be angry. We all want to have peace of mind and feel good feelings of positivity and love and peace and happiness and joy. But anger is a reality. It is a genuine emotion. It is part of our feeling body. And here's my basic philosophy, which is that suppression never works. It can work for a time, it can work for a long time, but ultimately suppression creates denial and repression. And it is a fundamental law of the universe that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it can only be transformed. And when you deal with any energy by suppressing it, rather than utilizing it and channeling it and honoring it and acknowledging it in some way and directing it, then you create denial within yourself, and you basically create a problem for yourself sometime down the road. Even if it seems like a solution now, okay, don't feel anger, don't express anger, don't acknowledge it as valid, because it's unpleasant and uncomfortable and people don't like to be around it, so just repress it and call that a solution. Then what you have is energy in a state of denial, in a state of compression. And the fundamental law of the universe, as I see it, is that energy is meant to be in a state of motion. No energy is supposed to be trapped. Trapped energy is always necessarily a temporary state of being, and ultimately all energy must return to a state of being movement. That is just what energy is supposed to do. And so denying and repressing the energy, the emotion of anger, simply buries it away to come up later in some other form, and one form that comes up in my view, in the view of some others at least, is disease and sickness. That disease and sickness within our physical bodies is to a great extent a matter of denied, suppressed emotions that lodge themselves into our physical body because they have nowhere else to go, because that's just kind of the last place for energy, our own personal energy, to go when it isn't allowed to move and express, is to end up in our body as frozen, unmoving energy that then manifests as disease. So here's a very simple little analogy to understand what anger is and what its role is. Imagine that you have a balloon, and this balloon is your feeling body. So this balloon is conscious. It has consciousness. So you have a little balloon, and now imagine somebody comes along and starts poking it. Just kind of slowly poking into this balloon. And so this balloon is conscious, it's experiencing this, and probably its first reaction is of fear. It's like, what the hell is going on? Something is poking into me. It's poking further and further. Maybe this thing can pop me and destroy me. Shit, what the hell am I going to do? And then maybe at some point it changes from a state of fear to one of anger, of what the hell are you doing? You don't have any right to poke me. I have a right to exist. I don't deserve to be popped. God damn it, get the hell out of here. Stop poking me. And it is that energy of anger that can push away repression of the self. As I see it, anger is simply an energetic response. So there's the other scientific principle. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Anger is simply the opposite reaction to the action of the soul being repressed, or else the fear of the soul being repressed or denied, or in some way ignored or invalidated. And so it is a natural, to a great extent unavoidable response to many of life's circumstances, especially in this 3D world of so much contrast and difficulty and challenges, in which we come up against so many circumstances that challenge us to the core and result in repression of our being, because we are not allowed to simply be ourselves. And so anger is simply an energetic response to life circumstances, and it is basically all emotion, all of the negative, so-called negative emotions of fear, anger, and sadness are the feeling body's response as a way of coming back into its natural state of being. So just imagine this little balloon, and something is distorting it, and emotion is the energetic response that, in response to that stimulus, that experience in life, emotion is the energetic response to come back into its natural state of being, which is not actually one of emotion, but is simply a state of bliss and love and joy. But emotion is the energetic response to various circumstances in life, which brings the feeling body back into its natural state of being. That's pretty much how I see it. So the big question is, what do you do? How do you deal with it? How do you deal with anger if you're having angry thoughts towards people, just anger in general? And there are many different solutions, and there are many helpful, ultimately beneficial solutions. There are, things like Ho'oponopono, you got that right? Which is a Hawaiian practice of forgiveness and thankfulness, and a way of healing wounds between people. And there is, various meditations that you can do to help it get beyond these feelings. But there is one especially simple, straightforward, direct way to deal with anger, and that is simply to express it. And the important thing to understand is that no feeling is unacceptable to God, as I see it. No thought or feeling is unacceptable to God. There's nothing wrong with anything you think or feel. What you do with those feelings within you does matter, and your energetic field does matter, and how it affects the world around you, the people around you. So I'm not saying that there are no effects, but whatever you feel is acceptable. The question is then, once you accept it, once you honor it, once you acknowledge how you really feel, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to channel that energy? And, pardon my distractions, a few people walking by on the trail up there. So I will very briefly tell my personal story in dealing with feelings of anger back when I was in my early 20s. And I talk about this in my book, Kundalini and the Art of Being. And I'd gone to a inner child workshop when I was 19, in which one of the exercises was expression of anger, and it was a classic thing of beating on a pillow. And in the course of doing that exercise, then I saw how direct expression of your feelings of anger really, truly releases and resolves it in a way that so many other ways of basically kind of beating around the bush and trying to convince yourself to be loving and forgiving and everything, and simply meditating on it, and visualization of positive energy and all this kind of stuff. But very often they never quite get into the heart of the matter there and really truly release and resolve the full depth of that anger that lies within all of us, just as a matter of life. You don't have to have been abused as a child, or be a minority, or pick whatever extreme examples that people could be angry about. Just things that come up in life. Things don't go your way. We all have had imperfect childhoods and had experiences with our parents in the past that were less than optimum and may have pissed us off, and we didn't resolve it at the time. So you don't have to have a reason to be angry. Just whatever you're feeling is what you're feeling, and that's the thing to acknowledge, is what are you really feeling. And really at the heart of my own approach to genuinely resolving negativity within us, so that we can come to a place of being more positive about life, about ourselves, about our relationships in general, is one of fully diving into whatever it is that you're experiencing within yourself and merging with it, and just getting down into it, rather than these approaches of trying to rise above it, separate from it, and rationalize it away, and push it away and suppress it, etc. So anyways, getting back to my personal story, then after having done this workshop, then I just felt a real release and relief after having done this exercise, and the workshop in general was really good. And so it was sometime later, about a year and a half later or so, then I was dealing with some more anger that had come up. It was related to my childhood, and I was out hiking, and just going on a walk is a good way to deal with it. Just get your body moving, give yourself the chance to think about what's bothering you, and try to make sense of it and figure it out, and figure out what's the source of your frustration in life and anger and everything. So I was hiking outside of Eugene, Oregon, in this really pretty arboretum, through these trees and things, and I came across this field, and there was a barn in the middle of the field, and it was kind of on the edge of the arboretum, so there weren't other people around there. So I walked into this barn, and it was wide open, nothing in there, no animals or anything. Sat down in the middle of it, and I think I just meditated or something. I forget if I did this anger release thing that time or some other time when I came back later. But anyways, I made it a regular exercise over the next couple of months of whenever I was pissed off about things, I'd go hiking out in this area. I think it was called Mount Pisgah Arboretum, and in the course of my hike, then I would hike out to that barn, go sit in that barn, just like tap into whatever I was experiencing within myself, and then just allow myself to just yell my head off and punch the air and do whatever to just let the anger out. And then afterwards I would just sit down in the dirt, meditate for a while, and it was just an incredible relief to just allow myself just to experience what I was feeling. I wasn't harming anybody, I wasn't punching anyone in the face, defacing property, directing it at somebody else and dumping all my crap on somebody else and making them feel horrible in the process. I was just releasing my genuine emotion into the air, back to the universe. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's a hell of a lot better than carrying around these feelings inside of yourself on a daily basis, which people pick up on, or else it's just going to create problems in your life later when it crops up as frustration, or you have flashes of anger that don't really match the circumstance you're in, because it's not that big of a deal as other people see it, and you're getting really pissed off about it or whatever. Really getting to the heart of it and just allowing yourself to merge with that energy and just express it physically within yourself in some way. And I found that over the course of those couple of months, then I really released a lot of crap from my system, and it wasn't there anymore. It was truly gone and truly released. And then another exercise I'll give is if you have a punching bag handy, that's a good one. Just go pound on a punching bag with the intention of feeling the energy, the emotion within you, and allowing it to really just course through your body. I think that's really an important element on the spiritual path, is one of merging these bodies with your physical, merging these energies with your physical body in some way, and really expressing it through your physical form, embracing your physical body as part of the process. So I think that pretty much captures my views on the subject. The basic concept is just to recognize that there are reasons to be angry, and don't judge yourself for feeling what you feel, but figure out a way to channel that energy. It could be something else. It could be doing art. Not everybody has a barn in the middle of a field available to them. You don't want to be yelling your head off in your apartment and freaking out your neighbors. But punching a punching bag, doing art, going running, or on a hike, swimming, something where you merge that energy with your physical body and express it in some way. So I hope that gives some ideas, shed some light on things, and thanks for watching.